Hey guys, Kalltorak here. Today, I am bringing you my Thorns Ritualist endgame guide for patch 0.2, Dawn of the Hunt. This is the follow-up to my leveling guide, so if you don't have a Thorns Ritualist yet, no worries. I have a really easy to follow leveling guide. I love this character, and it's currently my highest level character in PoE 2. It's also my go-to currency farm character, which is awesome since, it's Thorns. I couldn't really be happier with the state of Thorns for this patch. It's not perfect, but given the tools we currently have for Thorns, this is amazing. I am able to mindlessly clear Waystone level 16s with ease. The Herald of Blood tech has made mapping just so incredibly smooth, I don't even need to use Herald of Plague anymore. I just run attrition at all times because the Herald of Blood tech can screen clear on its own. As for Ritualist, well, I knew this would be good for Thorns. I gassed it up a lot going into this. That's why this isn't a Will It Thorns video, because to me it was obvious it would. I did underestimate its potential though. I was always hyped about the third ring slot. It made capping res while squeezing in rarity super easy. The 25% boost to rings and amulet though was seriously amazing, especially when on a budget. I feel so much tankier than my Warbringer, and I spent so little on this gear. On a budget, I'm sitting at block cap with 3200 life. I've died only once in the last 3 days of grinding endgame, and I've been spamming a lot of the hardest content. Recoup did not end up working out for me, at least on a budget. For Ritualist, pathing to the Recoup was just causing me to lose far too much Thorns damage, especially since we lost damage from the rare chest. If you had Chernobog Shield, I could see Recoup having a chance for Thorns, but honestly, the Instant Leech has worked perfectly for me. I think Recoup Thorns Titan might be better than this, but I have yet to try it. For Pinnacle content though, not much has changed from the Warbringer. There are a lot of core issues with Thorns and Pinnacle content. 1. A lot of the Pinnacle content attacks just one-shot you. On a budget, it's just not possible to avoid one-shots in +4 Pinnacles. Damage is also a huge problem for Pinnacle bosses. King of the Mist is easy because you can cheese his tornadoes. And Citadel bosses are oftentimes free. Sanctum and Ultimatum end bosses are fine as well. The problem is with the rest of them. 1. They attack far too slow. When the enemy boss doesn't have a fast-hitting attack, or sometimes they take more than 5 seconds between each strike. This really hurts Thorns damage. Sometimes the enemy boss doesn't have a fast-hitting attack, or they take more than 5 seconds between each strike. This really hurts Thorns DPS. Jet and Arbiter both attack really slow at times, which makes our DPS take a massive hit. Or when they do attack, it'll be a one-shot. Until Thorns has a reliable way of self-proccing, one-shots and bosses with slow attack patterns will always be a pain for this build. No matter how we min-max Thorns this patch, there is no perfecting it. You'll still occasionally die, and some Pinnacle content will be a struggle. Otherwise though, this build is awesome. Alright, I'm going to try and run you guys through everything. I don't know, I'm really happy with the build. It's my best performing Thorns build right now. Now, this doesn't mean the Warbringer can't perform as well. I just haven't played my Warbringer in about a month. So, if I applied a lot of what I learned to the Ritualist, it might apply as well, or perform as well, but the third ring is just insane. You get so much extra stats from it. I mean, look at this. It's 132 extra life. When you have that stacked with the ring bonus as well as the amulet bonus for increased maximum life, it's just so much extra maximum life. And then you have all of your rings being boosted. I mean, I'm really just happy with the Ritualist. The position on the tree is great for Thorns. It worked out great. I'm really happy with it. So if you're hesitant with playing Ritualist Thorns, don't be. This is one of the best builds I've played. So let's look at my defenses again. It is pretty damn good. We're at 3,200 life. We are fully capped on all of our resistances. We're over capped, right? The 3 rings are just let us be super tanky. And again, this was on a super budget. This was a really cheap setup. Currently, I'm at 9,917 Thorns damage unbuffed. Most of it physical. I did at one point try replacing all of the Lightning Thorns runes with life runes, and it did make me tankier. I was sitting at about like 3,600 life, and I was just, like, I never died when I had that set up, but the Lightning Thorns was leading to shocking the bosses consistently, so that was just being a nice DPS increase. But if you want to be just uber tanky, you can do fine without any of the Lightning Thorns runes. It just ends up shocking bosses. So 71% critical hit chance though. You do want a high critical hit chance. If you could get more crit, that's not bad because we are doing the crit leech style. But overall, most of my damage does come from scavenge plating, so you're gonna want to be breaking armor. But yeah, the damage is really good, and then I'm just as tanky as my Warbringer. Despite not having Turtle Charm, I mean, the extra life, and then it just led to me being so extra tanky. So let's go through the rune, or the skill gems real quick. So for Blood Boil might not actually be needed. It's possible you could take this point out of Blood Boil and slap it into the movement speed. The Blood Boil is extra damage, but it's not that important. So if you wanted to go faster, you could drop the Blood Boil. I put Brutality, Acrimony, and Swift Affliction in it. Now, right now, I run Attrition at all times. You can still use Herald of Plague for mapping, but I have found that Herald of Blood is full clearing screens without Herald of Plague. So, yeah. Just the explosions from Bursting Plague will self-proc the Herald of Blood on its own. So, the Herald of Blood and Attrition I have at all times. It's just because I'm lazy at gem swapping. If you're happy with swapping these runes around, you'll get much better clear or these gems around. You'll get much better clear, but I just run Attrition at all times just so I don't have to turn it on for bossing. The longer you're in a boss fight, the more damage you're going to be taking. So, this is huge for your Thorns. In Herald of Blood, I have a 5-link. In it, I have Bursting Plague, Deadly Poison, Comorbidity, and Venom, and Precision. I talk about this in the leveling guide, but these 4 ones are the important 4. If you can get Deadly Herald in, and you don't need Precision, you can swap that in. I am Spirit capped, so I can't run Deadly Herald right now. I also do need the Accuracy. But this is where all of our mapping comes from. It's actually good boss DPS too, when you combine it with Blood Hunt. So yeah, Armor Breaker. We do weapon swapping for armor breaking now. On mapping, most of our armor break, almost all of it actually, comes from Splinter in Rapid Assault. But for bossing specifically, if you have Demolisher in Armor Breaker, all it takes is a single use of Armor Breaker on bossing, and you can break their armor for the instant scavenge plating stack. So that's why I still run Armor Breaker, but I very rarely use it. It's really only on bossing. Rapid Assault, it's my main damage. No longer using Rake right now. Rake, well, one, I just ran out of skill gem slots. As you can see, I'm capped, and I don't have any of my rings as an unset ring. If you wanted to have the extra gem slot, you could have an unset ring here, and then you could not have to worry about swapping out Attrition or something for bossing. I hate gem swapping. I hate having to run gems in my bag. So if you wanted to use Rake for mapping, you can. I have found that with just Shield Charge, Thunder Sleep, and Blood Hunt, Rapid Assault is just fine for mapping. As you'll see, saw in the first half of the video, the clear is just fine. But that's why I'm no longer running Rake. If I still had the extra gem slot, I mean, again, I hate having to swap gills around, so for bossing, you're always going to want to use Rapid Assault. It just, whenever you're bossing, you have all of the Rapid Assault bursts going off at once for the barbs. So it's a maximum DPS for the Thorn stack for Quill Bursts and barbs. Rake is good for mapping and mobility, but it's your call what you want to use. I think just running only Rapid Assault is fine. In Rapid Assault, I have Splinter, Quill Burst, Barbs, and Martial Tempo. In Shield Charge, I have Stomping Ground and Ingenuity. Savage Plating, this is where most of our damage comes from. I have it currently level 24. It does 78 to 117 Thorns damage per stack of Savage Plating. And when you take into account all the Thorns damage modifiers we have, like that increased Thorns damage here, we got the enchants, and then our jewels that increase Thorns damage. Scavenge Plating actually ends up being a lot of damage. I think with full Scavenge Plating stacks, I'm at 20,000 Thorns damage. So, yeah, make sure you're just maximizing your Scavenge Plating stacks and getting as much damage as you possibly can. Blood Hunt, I have Inevitable Critical, Concentrated Effect, Super Critical, and Exploit Weakness. I use this on bossing. Whenever my blood loss is full, I'll hit them with a Blood Hunt. It'll remove the armor break. Usually when the blood loss is full is around the time that the armor break needs to be reset for getting Scavenge Fighting stack. So That's why I have that in Blood Hunt. So, and then the extra crit and concentrated effect, it actually does good damage. If you get a crit with Blood Hunt, it does a lot of damage, extra damage. It's just really good for boss DPS. It's actually added a good amount of damage to bossing. So make sure you're using your Blood Hunt consistently, which you will be forced to if it's your exploit weakness, Armor Break. And then my last mobility option, I have Thunderless Leap. We have Shocking Leap, which I never really get. Unabating and Unbreakable. Yeah, it plays really just like exactly the same as it did in leveling, except one, you're using Rapid Assault with Splinter. On mapping, again, Splinter breaks plenty of armor for me when mapping. I never, ever have to use Armor Breaker when mapping now. I only have to use Armor Breaker on bosses, and that's just because Rapid Assault can break armor on bosses, but Armor Breaker is literally just a single swing, where you just hit it once and it breaks the armor on the boss. Sometimes on the heavy or the high armor bosses, it'll take 2 swings. And yeah, that is the gem. Let's take a look at the gear. So for the rare spear, I am now just using a spear with this bunch of stats on it. We got 31 strength, 32 dex. It's got a good attack speed on it. These are the only stats you really care about. I guess you could want accuracy on your weapon as well. But it's really just a stat stick that attacks fast. The Aggravate Bleed spear is okay, but it is not needed in my opinion. When testing the difference between the two, I really didn't notice the difference. And yeah, it's just a lot of stats. I mean, 31 strength, 32 dexterity really helps you fill out your gear. So it's really nice. Gets you really tanky. Like I said, I feel pretty beefy right now. So the rare spear helps a lot with that. So we are running at Zeri's Acuity. This is so leech from critical hits is instant, and you can swap to these gloves the moment you hit mapping. The reason why is because before, during the leveling setup, we had a lot of passive points put into leech stuff. We had Voracious, sometimes people were taking a Vow Pact, some people were taking Hail Heart, and you really don't have to do any of that when you are taking instant leech, because a lot of your leech just comes from critical hits. So since we're already crit heavy, this is where all our healing comes from. So our only leech points are now into Vengeance, Goring, which we were mainly going Goring anyways for the physical damage, and then these points right here, Savor Blood. So with these gloves specifically, you are able to invest very little into defensives. So it allows us to take something like Severed Blood, which greatly increases the amount of life we leech, and then normally the downside with it is it makes your life leech slower, right? And all of these nodes do, but that doesn't impact us when you have instant leech. I have found that instant leech is just better in all situations, better than fast metabolism, better than any other option you can go. Vow Pact never felt worth it to me. There are plenty of moments where you do want life flasks. Things on the ground like poison pools or fire pools, they will not be leechable. And if you have no enemies around you when you're poisoned or you're ignited or something and you don't have those life flasks, you're going to die. So Vow Pact was never worth it. So in terms of minimum points in defensives and maximizing our damage, this is how I rocked it on my Warbringer, and after trying Recoup and many different other leech styles, at Zeri's ended up feeling best. Even better than the Impale gloves, so I recommend at Zeri's, and again, you can swap to these gloves the moment you hit endgame. You can get multiple sockets in it. You can go for a corruption that gives you lightning damage penetration if you're doing a lot of lightning runes. But yeah, these gloves are awesome. They also give you good critical hit chance bonus. So yeah, at Zeri's it just feels awesome. Helmet and the boots are the same. Okay, so let's talk about the shield and the chest real quick. So as you can see here, I'm using an Evasion Energy Shield chest, and I'm using an Armor Energy Shield shield. The reason why I am using an Evasion Energy Shield and Armor Energy Shield is because I hate the move speed penalty that comes with armor loss. If you do not mind going slower, it is better to armor stack. It's not the best. It's not like it's going to make you exponentially more defensive, but it will make you tankier. I just do not like the move speed loss, so I went with Evasion Energy Shield and Energy Shield Armor. The energy shield and the evasion rating do not help me survive at all. As you can see here, my evasion rating percent is horrible. And yeah, I only have 226 energy shield. That doesn't help me survive at all, right? It is just I wanted gear in these slots that would not make me slow. I'm only at a 14% movement speed right now, right? So if I was stacking a bunch more armor, I'd be going a lot slower. So that's why I am using those slots types. You do not have to do this. What you really want to do is just get maximum life on both of these pieces, and as high Thorns damage rolls as you possibly can. And then you want the Thorns damage enchants. As you can see, both are corrupted to have Thorns damage enchants. If you can get them both 50%, that is better, right? You want these as high as you can, but don't go for 3 sockets or 2 sockets on the shield. You want the Thorns damage enchants. And then otherwise, you are just filling out your resistances. But yeah, that's why I'm running armor energy, not running the armor on them. It's just because I hate the movement speed loss. If you don't care about that, stack that armor, babe. This is the belt I've been using on all my Thorns characters. I got this very early on in the league on my Warbringer, and it's just juicy. You want max life on all your pieces. Max life is where we're getting a lot of our defenses from. And because we have the increased maximum life amulet that's being boosted by Mystic Attunement, yeah, we just want as much max life as we possibly can. And then on the rings, it's just really about filling out your defenses, get rarity where you can. I wish I had a little bit more rarity. I am only at, what is my rarity at right now? 87%. I think the sweet spot that most people talk about is a little bit over 100%, right around 100%. So, but as you can see here, like I just got max life on all these pieces. Get strength if you can. More strength is more life, obviously. And then you want spirit on your amulet. And if you can get spirit on your chest as well, I mean, more spirit gems will let you run Herald the Plague, or more support gems like Deadly Herald and stuff easier. But that's it for the gear. I mean, the gear is pretty straightforward. You obviously just want to get res cap. Obviously, I'm way over res cap, so this could be itemized better. And I did all this on a very reasonable budget. For anoints, right now, I'm using Tempered Mind. It's more physical damage, more crit damage bonus, and more strength. I'm honestly not sure what's like mathematically best here. I believe there's like physical damage and bleed magnitude here. I'm not sure how good that would be, but this one just screams to me like I'm not a math guy. I'm not running things into Path of Building because Path of Building still doesn't have fully working Thorn support. But Tempered Mind just seems like the obvious choice to me. If you don't want to waste a bunch of money, Parrying Motion just makes you go faster when you're blocking, and you're blocking all the time. Oh, one thing to talk about, I forgot to mention, with the shield. The shield, you want a high block chance. As you can see here, I'm at 75% block chance, and in my passive tree, I have nothing put into block chance. All I did was path to the nodes that gave me damage per block chance, offensive stance, and lay siege, but it's not like I was scooping a bunch of the, block chance nodes along the path here and stuff, so you want to make sure you get a high block chance shield. This one is a 44% block chance baseline. Since we're not a Warbringer, the Warbringer has the Ascendancy passes that boost your shield to 40%. We don't have that, so you want a high block chance shield. It is very, very important. Okay, let us talk about the passive tree. So, Mystic Attunement is required. I went with the reduced mana. At one point, I think I was running reduced resistances when my lightning res was even higher, but yeah, you don't really have to worry too much about the mana. I'm only running a level 12 Rapid Assault right now. And I do have to mana flask every once in a while, but I've never gotten to the point where I was like completely out of mana and couldn't Rapid Assault and didn't have mana flask on any boss fight, even the long ones. So mana isn't really a concern. So I could be wrong on this, but my understanding of Wildwood Persistence is life recovery rate would not apply to instant leech. If I'm wrong here, I'm wrong here, but let me know in the comments, and then this might actually be better. But from my understanding, this has no impact on instant leech. And honestly, we're never low life anyway, so like, or below 50%, right? Or whatever it is. So like, I don't know if this would even be beneficial, but I've not felt like this was important since I swapped to instant leech. Let me know if I'm wrong, though, if it doesn't impact it at all, or if it does impact it, but I don't think it does. So I went with the +1 charm slot. I went with the removing bleed, because I did find I was dying to bleed just too much, so yeah. Like I said, you could take a point out of Blood Boil potentially, put it into the move speed. I did try Ritual Sacrifice. I hate this spell. You have to sit there channeling too long at the rare. The buff didn't really last too long. Since we have to put persistence into Scavenge Plating, we couldn't put persistence into the Ritual Sacrifice. We're just not a fan of this. You could potentially run it instead of Blood Boil and Intricate Sigils and just slam them into here, but this is what I'm running right now. Additional Charm slot so I could remove the bleed, and then Blood Boil. You could run. There was a long period of time I was not running Blood Boil. I was running the 3% increased move speed, and I honestly might swap back to that because Blood Boil is okay, but it doesn't feel needed at my current damage for mapping. So yeah, the pathing is about the same. You path down here, you get exposed wounds, ailment chance. You want to get bloodletting for the bleed hit chance. Lay Siege, again, is a lot of where our damage is. We're getting increased damage per block chance, and we have 75% block chance. Improved armor break and physical damage here, more physical damage. We have to take Vengeance for our Thorns to Leech. Over here, we do have Aggravation, just for the random chance to aggravate bleed, but we do need all of this bleed hit chance. Every flat bleed hit chance we can get on the tree that is in our path, we take. And then we take this Jewel Node here. Eventually, you're going to get Goring, 40% increased physical damage, and increased life leached. You do take 5% reduced max life, but it's worth it, in my opinion. Path over here, do get Unbending for more max life and stun threshold. We do get the Thorns damage here. And I only put 1 point into the armor penetration for Thorns damage. I figured why not? 50% chance. That seems okay for mapping at least. Thornhide for the critical hit chance, and then of course Vulgar Methics and Barbaric Strength for the crits damage bonus. Physical damage increase from Battle Fever. I did end up getting Prism Guard. I ended up going with the increased max fire res. I feel like I was dying to fire res more than lightning or cold. It's usually lightning or fire that gets me. I feel like cold is the least deadly of resistances. In fact, I feel like you could get away with like not negative, but like non-cold res capped in a lot of situations. There's very few deadly cold spells in this game. So you can choose to path through either through here to get the max lightning res, or through here to go for the fire res. I went for the fire res. You're going to take Retaliation, increase your Thorns damage when you block, which you'll be blocking all the time. And then, I talked about it earlier, but Savor Blood, it just increases the amount of life you leech, and we are not taking any downside from the leech life is slower, just because, again, instant leech. And then we path up here to Offensive Stance. We are getting a lot of increased damage from these two nodes, honestly. Offensive Stance and Lay Siege are a lot of damage. So if you're wondering why your damage feels so much lower than mine, check your block chance. If you do not have a high block chance, like if you're only at like 30-something% block chance because you have a really bad shield, right? That is a lot of damage you're losing. So make sure you look at that. And then lastly, let's talk about the Jewel. So plus 2 Prism of Belief for Scavenge Plating. Now, I have heard people say in the comments that the plus 3 Prism of Belief for Scavenge Plating is bugged. I have other people have told me that this is just a tooltip bug with this, but your damage does actually go up with the plus 3. I only have the plus 2. I can confirm the plus 2 does increase the damage. At least, I mean, my 8 brain thinks it does. I don't know about the plus 3. Some people I've seen in my comments say the plus 3 is bugged. But I've also had other people tell me it isn't bugged. It's just it is bugged, but only as a tooltip visually, and that the damage is actually going up more. I can't promise you because I've never bought the plus 3. I only have the plus 2. And then for your other jewels, it's the same as when I left it in the leveling guide, but Thorns damage and global physical damage are great ways to increase your damage. Block chance if you need the block chance. Bleed hit chance if you need the bleed hit chance. Honestly, bleed hit chance is pretty good, especially for bossing. Really, and for mapping. It's great for both, so. You can get bleed hit chance. Increased life leech is a good defensive layer as well. It looks like I only have 1 with block chance on it. But yeah, those are the jewels. In my weapon set 2, I guess I should talk about that real quick. Looks like I need to... adjust it to where I'm not losing my armor. Even when I lose my body armor, though, I'm still res cap. That's so funny. But I have just a fast attack speed mace, just so I can get the armor break faster. And then I do have one of my off shields. It's just to make sure I was still blocking okay when I'm in my weapon set 2. And I was still res cap. If you find you're randomly dying, make sure your weapon set 2 is keeping you at res cap. One thing I noticed earlier on my Ritualist was that I was dying randomly, especially on bosses, and it was because I was using Armor Breaker, and I was getting hit when I was using Armor Breaker, and my fire res was like at 30. So I had to go get my old Warbringer shield that had a high fire res on it, so I made sure I was not low fire res when I was Armor Breaker, so make sure you check for that. But yeah, this build's awesome, guys. It is my best performing Thorns build. If you're curious, Warbringer, Thorns, Titan, they're all going to be about the same. If you apply all of what I've learned from this Ritualist to the Warbringer, it will perform as well, maybe better. But I just haven't revisited the Warbringer in about a month. But yeah, that's the build. Let me know what you guys think down below. So I'm not sure what is next for me. I'm honestly feeling like I need a break for Thorns. I think I'm going to revisit my favorite build from patch 0.1, which was my Bone Storm Pathfinder. That will probably be my next build I showcase, then maybe we dive back into Thorns action. I'll be starting a few new series on my channel soon, so keep an eye out for those. If you're enjoying the content, please like and subscribe. Apologies to Darth Microtransaction, we once again ran out of time. Take care, boys. See you in the next one.